She's been planning her exit for months while he's been planning their vacation. She's already downloaded dating apps while he's been looking at engagement rings. She's been emotionally preparing for single life while he's been thinking about their future together. The relationship has been over in her mind for half a year, but he won't find out until she's already moved on to someone else. This isn't a story about one particular woman or one unfortunate man. This is the mathematical reality of how modern relationships end. Women orchestrate departures while men experience abandonment. Women execute strategic exits while men suffer sudden devastation. Women transition seamlessly into new relationships while men struggle to understand what just happened to their lives. The asymmetry isn't accidental, and it isn't personal. It's the predictable result of how power, options, and social dynamics actually work in contemporary romantic relationships. Women have systematically stacked the deck in their favour when it comes to relationship endings, and most men don't even realise they're playing a rigged game. Today, I'm going to expose the hidden architecture of female relationship departure, reveal why women can leave without looking back while men are left picking up the pieces, and explain why this dynamic represents one of the most significant dating disadvantages that men face in the modern world. The most devastating aspect of how women leave relationships is what I call the silent exit strategy, a systematic approach to relationship termination that begins months before the actual breakup and operates completely outside the man's awareness. This strategy begins with what I call the internal withdrawal phase, where women psychologically detach from relationships long before taking any external action. During this phase, she's already processed the relationship ending in her mind, worked through the emotional implications, and made peace with the decision to leave. Meanwhile, her partner continues operating under the assumption that they're working toward a shared future. The silent exit strategy includes sophisticated emotional preparation that allows women to minimize their own trauma while maximizing their strategic positioning. She begins the psychological grieving process while still in the relationship, which means she's often emotionally recovered by the time she actually leaves. This emotional head start explains why women seem to move on so quickly after breakups. They've already done most of their emotional processing in secret. The strategy also involves what I call stealth market research, where women begin evaluating their romantic alternatives while still committed to existing relationships. This research doesn't necessarily involve infidelity, but it does involve assessing whether better options are available and positioning herself to access those options when she becomes single. Physical preparation is another crucial component of the silent exit strategy. Women often begin improving their appearance, expanding their social circles, and developing new interests that will serve them well in single life. These changes might be disguised as personal growth or new hobbies, but they're actually strategic positioning for post-relationship success. The silent exit strategy is particularly effective because it violates men's assumptions about how relationships end. Men typically expect relationship problems to be addressed through communication, conflict resolution, or mutual effort. They don't anticipate that their partners might be secretly planning departures while appearing to be invested in relationship continuation. This strategy allows women to control every aspect of relationship ending: the timing, the circumstances, the narrative, and the transition process. By the time men realize what's happening, women have already secured their advantages and minimized their vulnerabilities. What makes female relationship departures so effective is what I call the departure control matrix, a comprehensive system of advantages that allows women to dictate when, how, and under what circumstances relationships end. The matrix begins with what I call initiation dominance, the statistical reality that women end most romantic relationships and marriages. This dominance isn't coincidental. It's the result of women understanding that controlling departure timing provides enormous strategic advantages. The person who decides when a relationship ends gets to choose the most favourable circumstances for that ending. Initiation dominance operates like corporate restructuring, where the company announcing layoffs has months to plan the transition, while employees learn about their termination the day it happens. Women can time their departures to coincide with new job starts, social calendar openings, seasonal advantages, or the availability of desirable alternatives. Men receive these decisions as fait accompli, without any opportunity to influence timing or circumstances. The departure control matrix also includes what I call information asymmetry, where women possess complete knowledge about their departure plans, while men operate with incomplete or false information about relationship health. This asymmetry allows women to continue extracting relationship benefits while secretly planning their exits. Resource positioning is another crucial element of the matrix. Women often use the preparation period to secure financial independence, establish separate living arrangements, or build support networks that will assist in their post-relationship transitions. Meanwhile, men continue investing in shared futures that will never materialize. The matrix includes social narrative control, where women get to frame the relationship ending on their own terms. Since they initiate the departure, they control the story about why the relationship failed, what their partner's shortcomings were, and what they need in future relationships. This narrative control helps them maintain social support, while often leaving men dealing with social confusion or blame. The departure control matrix transforms relationship endings from mutual processes into unilateral decisions that serve women's interests while leaving men scrambling to understand and adapt to circumstances they had no role in creating. One of the most sophisticated aspects of female relationship strategy is what I call optionality portfolio management, the practice of maintaining multiple potential romantic alternatives throughout existing relationships to ensure seamless transitions between partners. This portfolio management operates through what I call the peripheral orbit system, where women cultivate relationships with men who represent potential romantic options without crossing explicit boundaries of infidelity. These men might be colleagues who've expressed interest, friends who provide emotional support, or social acquaintances who offer different lifestyles or qualities than current partners. The peripheral orbit system allows women to maintain what I call warm backup options, potential partners who are already emotionally invested and romantically interested but haven't been activated yet. These options require minimal development time because the foundation of attraction and interest has already been established during the previous relationship. Portfolio management also includes what I call strategic social positioning, where women place themselves in environments that provide access to high-quality alternatives. This might involve joining new social groups, accepting invitations to events where successful men gather, or maintaining friendships with people who can provide introductions to desirable potential partners. The optionality portfolio creates what I call the seamless transition effect, where women can move directly from one relationship to another without experiencing periods of loneliness, uncertainty, or reduced lifestyle quality. While men are processing the shock of unexpected breakups, women are often already several dates into new relationships with partners they'd been cultivating for months. This portfolio management is socially acceptable because it operates within the boundaries of friendship and professional relationships. Women can maintain emotional connections with potential alternatives while technically remaining faithful to current partners. This social acceptability means women can build extensive option portfolios without facing criticism or relationship consequences. The portfolio system also provides women with comparison opportunities that allow them to evaluate current partners against available alternatives. This constant benchmarking often leads to relationship dissatisfaction when current partners don't measure favorably against other options, accelerating the departure timeline. Perhaps the most mathematically devastating aspect of female relationship advantages is what I call the recovery time differential, the dramatic difference in how quickly men versus women can transition into new, romantic relationships after breakups. This differential operates on multiple levels that compound women's advantages. Emotionally, women typically recover faster because they've been processing the relationship ending for months before it actually occurs. While men are just beginning to understand that their relationship is over, women have already completed most of their emotional healing and are ready to invest in new connections. Socially, women recover faster because they typically maintain broader support networks and are more likely to receive assistance from friends and family during transition periods. Men often find themselves socially isolated after breakups, particularly if their social circles were primarily connected through their female partners. Practically, women often recover faster because they have had time to arrange alternative living situations, establish financial independence, or secure social support before relationship endings occur. Men frequently face the practical challenges of rebuilding their lives while simultaneously processing emotional trauma. The recovery time differential creates what I call the opportunity velocity gap, where women can enter new relationships months before men are emotionally ready to date again. This gap means that by the time men have processed their previous relationship and are ready to seek new partners, women have already secured the most desirable available options. The differential also includes physical recovery advantages. Women often use the pre-departure preparation period to improve their appearance, lose weight, or enhance their attractiveness. They enter the dating market in peak condition, while men are often dealing with depression, stress, or neglect of physical maintenance that occurred during the relationship-ending trauma. Market positioning advantages compound the recovery time differential. Women can begin building new relationships while still receiving support and resources from ending relationships. This overlap period allows them to transition from one source of stability to another without experiencing vulnerability or need. The mathematical advantage that women hold in relationship transitions is amplified by what I call the standards gatekeeping system, a social dynamic where women maintain high selectivity requirements that create additional barriers for men seeking new relationships. This gatekeeping system operates on the principle that women are socially encouraged and supported in maintaining rigorous standards for potential partners. These standards typically include height requirements, income thresholds, educational expectations, social status criteria, and personality qualifications that automatically eliminate large percentages of available men. 16. The gatekeeping system creates what I call the qualification bottleneck, where men must meet multiple criteria simultaneously to be considered viable romantic options. This bottleneck means that even men who are ready to enter new relationships after breakups face significant obstacles in finding women willing to date them. Women's standards are also dynamic and tend to increase over time rather than decrease. Each relationship provides learning experiences that often result in additional or more rigorous requirements for future partners. This standards escalation means that available men face increasingly difficult qualification requirements. The system is supported by social messaging that encourages women to never settle and to maintain high expectations regardless of their own market value or circumstances. This social support system means that women rarely face pressure to reduce their standards, even when those standards significantly limit their options. The standards gatekeeping system creates asymmetrical market dynamics, where women can be extremely selective, while men must compete intensively for acceptance. This asymmetry means that women entering the dating market after relationships can afford to be patient and choosy, while men face pressure to accept whatever opportunities become available. The gatekeeping system also includes social penalties for men who attempt to implement similar selectivity. Men who maintain high standards are often characterized as unrealistic, shallow, or immature, while women with equivalent standards are praised for knowing their worth. The cumulative effect of all these female advantages creates what I call relationship turnover mathematics, a statistical framework that reveals why women achieve significantly better long-term romantic outcomes than men through serial relationship patterns. These mathematics operate on the principle that relationship success is partially determined by the number of attempts you get to find compatible partners. More relationship attempts create more opportunities to find someone who matches your preferences, goals, and lifestyle requirements. The turnover mathematics reveal that women typically achieve 60 to 70% more relationship attempts than men during their prime dating years. This advantage stems from faster recovery times, better option management, superior departure control, and more favourable market positioning following relationship endings. The mathematical advantage compounds over time because each relationship provides learning experiences that improve women's partner selection skills. With more attempts, women become better at identifying incompatible partners early, negotiating relationship terms, and securing their preferred relationship dynamics. The mathematics also reveal what I call the success probability amplification effect, where additional relationship attempts don't just provide more opportunities, they provide progressively better opportunities as women's skills and positioning improve with experience. The turnover mathematics explain why women often end up in relationships that serve their long-term interests, while men frequently struggle to find partnerships that align with their goals and preferences. More attempts combined with better strategic positioning create better outcomes. These mathematics also reveal why playing serial relationship games puts men at systematic disadvantages that compound over time. Each relationship cycle provides women with more strategic advantages, while often leaving men depleted and less competitive for subsequent relationships. What makes female relationship departures particularly effective is what I call the transition seamlessness strategy, a comprehensive approach that minimizes the negative consequences of relationship endings while maximizing the benefits of new beginnings. This strategy begins with what I call the overlap architecture, where women create temporary periods where they receive benefits from ending relationships while building foundations for new relationships. This overlap might involve continued emotional support from departing partners while developing romantic connections with new interests. The seamlessness strategy includes lifestyle continuity planning that ensures women don't experience significant decreases in living standards, social access, or financial security during relationship transitions. This planning often involves securing alternative sources of support before ending current relationships. Social continuity is another crucial component of the seamlessness strategy. Women typically maintain their social networks and often expand them during relationship transitions, while men frequently lose access to social circles that were connected through female partners. The strategy also includes what I call identity reinvention opportunities, where relationship endings are reframed as chances for personal growth, new experiences, and lifestyle improvements. This reframing helps women view relationship endings as positive developments rather than failures or losses. The transition seamlessness strategy includes rapid replacement protocols that allow women to quickly substitute ended relationships with new partnerships that often provide superior benefits. These protocols minimize periods of singleness that might involve loneliness, reduce security, or lifestyle adjustments. The seamlessness strategy is particularly effective because it treats relationship endings as strategic transitions rather than traumatic disruptions. This approach allows women to optimize their romantic lives while men are often left dealing with unexpected life upheavals. Underlying all of these strategic advantages is what I call the emotional investment imbalance, a dynamic where men typically invest more emotional energy in relationships, while women maintain more emotional flexibility and strategic distance. This imbalance begins early in relationships when men often develop deeper emotional attachments more quickly than women. While men are falling in love and building their identities around relationships, women are typically evaluating compatibility and maintaining awareness of alternatives. The emotional investment imbalance means that relationship endings impact men more severely, because they've typically invested more of their identity and emotional energy in the partnerships. Women, having maintained more emotional distance, can transition more easily to new relationships without experiencing identity disruption. This imbalance also affects post-relationship recovery, because men must rebuild emotional frameworks that were heavily dependent on their partnerships, while women can more easily transfer their emotional investments to new situations or relationships. The imbalance is often disguised because women are generally better at emotional expression and relationship communication. This superior emotional intelligence can make it appear that women are more emotionally invested when they're actually more emotionally strategic. The emotional investment imbalance creates what I call the vulnerability asymmetry, where men become emotionally dependent on relationships while women maintain emotional independence that serves them well during relationship transitions. Understanding this imbalance is crucial because it explains why the same relationship ending can devastate men while barely affecting women's emotional equilibrium or life satisfaction. Women's ability to leave relationships without looking back is supported by what I call the social support infrastructure, a comprehensive network of institutional and personal support systems that facilitate female relationship transitions while providing minimal assistance to men. This infrastructure includes female friendship networks that typically provide emotional support, practical assistance, and encouragement during relationship endings. These networks often include friends who have experienced similar transitions and can provide guidance, validation, and social opportunities. The infrastructure also includes cultural messaging that frames female relationship departure as empowerment rather than failure. Women are encouraged to leave relationships that don't serve their interests and are praised for prioritizing their own happiness and growth. Professional support systems, including therapists, coaches, and counselors, typically provide women with frameworks for understanding relationship endings as positive life changes rather than traumatic losses. This professional support helps women process relationship endings quickly and optimistically. The social support infrastructure includes practical assistance networks that help women with moving, financial planning, legal advice, and lifestyle transitions. These networks ensure that women don't face the practical challenges of relationship endings alone. Legal and financial systems often provide women with additional support during relationship endings, particularly in marriages where asset division, spousal support, and custody arrangements typically favor female interests. The infrastructure is particularly effective because it operates proactively rather than reactively. Women often receive support and encouragement to leave unsatisfying relationships before they reach crisis points, while men typically only receive support after relationships have already ended traumatically. Perhaps the most sophisticated aspect of female relationship departure is what I call strategic timing mastery. The ability to choose optimal moments for relationship endings that maximize advantages while minimizing risks and complications. This timing mastery operates through what I call the opportunity window recognition, where women identify periods when departing relationships will provide the greatest benefits. These windows might coincide with career opportunities, social calendar openings, seasonal advantages, or the availability of superior alternatives. Strategic timing also includes what I call risk minimization scheduling, where women time departures to avoid periods when they would be vulnerable to financial stress, social isolation, or emotional difficulty. This scheduling ensures that women leave relationships when they're best positioned for successful transitions. The timing mastery includes consideration of male vulnerability cycles that allow women to depart when their partners are least prepared to resist or negotiate the separation. This might involve timing departures during male stress periods, professional challenges, or emotional low points. 29th. Strategic timing also includes what I call risk minimization scheduling, where women time departures to avoid periods when they would be vulnerable to financial stress, social isolation, or emotional difficulty. This scheduling ensures that women leave relationships when they're best positioned for successful transitions. The timing mastery includes consideration of male vulnerability cycles that allow women to depart when their partners are least prepared to resist or negotiate the separation. This might involve timing departures during male stress periods, professional challenges, or emotional low points. 30. Seasonal timing advantages are another component of strategic timing mastery. Women often time relationship departures to coincide with social seasons that favor meeting new partners, such as summer months when social activities increase, or holiday periods when social events create meeting opportunities. The timing mastery also includes coordination with alternative relationship opportunities, where departures are timed to coincide with the availability of preferred new partners. This coordination minimizes transition periods and maximizes the likelihood of successful immediate replacements. Strategic timing mastery transforms relationship endings from reactive responses to relationship problems into proactive life optimization strategies that serve women's long-term romantic and lifestyle objectives. 31. The ultimate insight about female relationship departures is understanding what I call the game selection advantage. The reality that women have unconsciously chosen to play relationship games where they hold systematic advantages while men unknowingly participate in games designed for their failure. This advantage operates through women's intuitive understanding that serial relationship patterns favor their psychological, social, and strategic strengths. Women excel at relationship transitions, option management, social navigation, and emotional flexibility, all crucial skills for success in modern dating dynamics. The game selection advantage means that women can optimize their romantic lives through relationship patterns that would be devastating for men. What appears to be callous departure behavior is actually strategic optimization within a game structure that rewards female advantages. 32nd. Men, meanwhile, often attempt to play relationship games that favor commitment, loyalty, and long-term investment. Strategies that are systematically punished in contemporary dating markets that prioritize optionality and strategic positioning. The game selection advantage also includes women's ability to change game rules mid-relationship when those changes serve their interests. Women can shift from commitment-focused relationship dynamics to exit-oriented dynamics when their circumstances or preferences change. Understanding the game selection advantage reveals why traditional male relationship strategies often fail in modern contexts. Men are playing games with rules designed for different social and economic circumstances, while women have adapted their strategies to contemporary realities. 33. The advantage is particularly powerful because it operates unconsciously, which means women can execute optimal strategies without appearing calculating or manipulative. They're simply following behavioral patterns that happen to be perfectly suited to modern relationship dynamics. If this analysis of female relationship departure strategies has revealed patterns you recognize in your own romantic history, subscribe to this channel for more insights into the hidden dynamics of modern dating. hit that notification bell, because understanding these patterns could help you recognize the signs of impending relationship endings and protect yourself from strategic departures. Share this video with any man who needs to understand that relationship endings aren't random events. They're often carefully orchestrated processes where one person holds all the advantages while the other person faces systematic disadvantages. 34. Remember, the goal isn't to become cynical about women or relationships, but to understand the actual rules of the games you're playing. When you understand that women can leave without looking back because they've structured their lives and relationships to make seamless departures possible, you can make more informed decisions about your own relationship strategies. Your romantic success isn't determined by finding women who won't leave. It's determined by understanding the dynamics that make departures possible, and either adapting to those dynamics or choosing different relationship strategies that better serve your interests and strengths. The departures will always be possible, but they don't have to be complete surprises that devastate your life and leave you struggling to rebuild. Knowledge is power, and understanding the architecture of relationship endings gives you the power to protect yourself and make strategic choices rather than emotional reactions.